If you're anything like me, you've probably struggled before with, what do I use Notion for? This is a thing that's bugged me for a long time, and I never really had a use for it. I saw tons of people talk about how great it was and how wonderful it was for their work, but it never clicked with me. It wasn't a good task manager, it wasn't a good note taker necessarily, and I didn't know what to do with it. And while I'm not going to say that I have the perfect use case for you, I do have a specific use case that worked really well for me and got me into the app. And I wanted to show you today how I use Notion to organize this very YouTube channel. So it's going to be totally open. I'm going to show you exactly what I have currently in my Notion set for this. And you can see everything I'm working on, what I've worked on, schedules and stuff. So let's just kind of jump in and I'll show you what I've got. So if I open up Notion, you can see a board. I'm using a Kanban board or Kanban board, however you say it. And I've set up a header, I've got an icon over here, and you can upload these however you want. I've got a call to better computer. And all I've done is create a bunch of tasks, and they all have a status that I've set up. So I have no status, which are just ideas that I have. I've got queue, which are things that I've decided I want to work on, I just haven't scheduled yet. I've got in production, so these are projects that I'm currently working on or want to work on next. So you can kind of see some of the stuff that I've got here. And then there's my completed ones. And so these are a list of all the projects I've completed. And so you can see there's some extra stuff on these guys, and I'll get to that in a second. And so with this YouTube channel, I want to have a regular cadence of release, and I want to release a video every Thursday, and then there's some additional ones in there now and then, which I just are when I am inspired and want to make a video about something, I kind of get off the schedule. But I try to release on a certain schedule, and I want to make sure that I've got things queued up ahead of time to make sure that even if I don't have like the energy or the ability to make a video for a couple weeks, I can still have things in the queue ready to go. And so what I've got here are all of these cards are single ideas for videos. And so you can see some recent ones that I've done, quick task creation with things for Mac, that's coming out on July 23rd, Dark Noise 2, automate task creation with shortcuts and things. So these are some videos I've made previously. These are some that I'm working on. This one right here is the one that I'm doing right now. And then I've got a couple that I know I want to do next. And then there's 13 ideas that I want to do someday. And so let's jump into one of these and see what we've got going on. So let me do a recent one that I did, and that's Dark Noise 2.0. So if I click into this, you can see there's a page for this item, and basically I have a name for it. I can assign it to somebody. It's only me doing this, so I don't have it assigned to anybody, but I can set a status for it. I can set a release date. So the release date is a custom field I've set up. It's a date field. I can make it any of these, but I've got a date called release date, and that's the day I want the video to publish. I've got the app service that it's attached to. And so these are kind of multi-select things. So this is a productivity video. If it was using a certain app, like if it was using Ulysses, I could add that or something. And I can just kind of filter by what things that I'm interested in, what things I've talked about before, and try to mix it up, but also kind of, do the things that I'm interested in most. After I upload a video, I like to have the YouTube link here, so at any point I can use this page to find specific links, and then I upload the thumbnail here. So if I click into that, I can see the thumbnail for this. If I click over here, I can download it if I ever need to get it again. And so that's all the information I have. I could theoretically do more. I've seen other YouTubers use Notion and they do a lot more, but that's enough for me. So I'm going to close that, and the next thing I want to do is look at how do I set it up to look like this, right? So I've got kind of my tags showing, so I know this is a LumaFusion video, this is a Notion video, this is a Things video. I can see dates on them. I've got thumbnails and YouTube links here. So if I click this, I don't have to actually go into the task. I can actually just click it and I'll go straight to the web browser. And do that by using properties. So if I go to the properties, I can see properties for board view. You can do a card preview. I do none. I could do like page cover, and actually I don't use any page covers, so that's not a thing. But like there's previews. You can set the size. I can make them smaller if I want. I can actually make them bigger, which actually might make sense because I'm not using all the space here. So there's that. And then all of these down here, these are those custom properties I made so I can rearrange them. So I've got like the tag above the date. Maybe I want the tag all the way at the bottom. So I throw that down here. You can see that updates all of these. I actually don't want that. I want it up there. This is kind of where I actually want it. But you can rearrange these however you'd like. You can make them just straight up not show if you don't want them. Like let's take away the thumbnails. You see all the thumbnails go away, but I like those. It's kind of glanceable for me to be able to see them. So you can customize how this board looks. And so for me, this is really convenient because when I'm done like making this video, I can basically what I'll end up doing is I'll get the YouTube link from the upload, I'll paste it here, I'll upload the thumbnail for the video here, and then I can either click into here and say it's completed, and that'll change the status, or I can do what I find more satisfying is just drag it over and then it goes over here. So those are the things that I can do. It's really, really nice and helps me kind of move my work from the left to the right. Like everything over here on the left, I want to get it over to the right of the page, and I want to have some stuff in the queue so I know I've got some interesting ideas that I want to work on next, and then I have things in production so I know exactly what I'm working on now and when I make the video, when I should schedule it for. And so there's a lot more you can do here. If I go up here to the board view, I can actually look at a calendar view. I've set up a calendar view so I can see when these projects are set to be released. So here's today, and then I can see I've got a video scheduled on the 23rd already. It's completed, so I don't have to worry about that. That means I've uploaded it to YouTube and everything. It's just ready to go. And then I can see the one on the 30th. I have it scheduled, but I haven't done it yet. So I want to make sure I do that video before that time. And so that's really interesting. And then you can do more of these. So you can add a view, you could do all sorts of views. You could do a table that'll look kind of just like an Excel spreadsheet. The board is what I'm using for that first one. The calendar is what we're looking at now. And then there's lists, there's galleries. You can do a lot. So for me, I just like this board view personally because it helps me kind of keep track of things in my head and be able to look at a glance and see what I should be working on. But you can do whatever you want. And the really cool thing is that it lets you customize it. So maybe Q isn't what I want. I can change that. So let me actually click into there and say next up. There we go. And so it's called next up. And then maybe I want to change the color, not red, let's make it pink. So now I've got pink, yellow, and green. Or actually, red is kind of like a negative thing, let's make it blue, right? So these are the ones next up, these are the ones in production, these are the ones that are completed. So I could also add a group, so that'd be a new status. Like you can do a lot here, and that's kind of the cool thing about Notion is you can build out whatever interface that works for you and then use that. Now it's not going to be as perfect as something like Things or something like that where it's really finely crafted. This is kind of a build your own interface, which has some limitations, but it also is really liberating to be able to do basically whatever you want with the application. So that's really cool. I do some other stuff in here. I do meeting notes in here as well. I found a couple other small uses for it, but this kind of board view for a project that's ongoing and it's going to have little tasks that I need to do over time has been really, really useful for me. So maybe this will give you some ideas about what you could use Notion for. Maybe it won't, and that's cool too, but this is how Notion initially got into my life as a great way for me to do some of the work I was already doing.